Geelong versus Richmond. Did you see that?
I did. Oh my God! Oh, what a grand final, Paul.
Oh,
Woo! It was the score at the end. What a score! I mean,
it was amazing.
I'm so over the moon.
Oh.
But Geelong, woohoo! Oh my gosh.
We haven't won one. We haven't won one since 2011, Tim. That's 9 years.
It's great, Paul, to get the monkey off the back.
That's 9 years, Tim. Almost as long as you haven't had LEDs in your theatre room.
I know. 9 years ago, Paul, 9 years ago, I was
Younger.
I was much younger. Yeah, I was still in my yeah. But I'll tell you what, Paul. Wow,
Still
what
in
a
your
game! But, what a game! Okay, now let's record it because we're recording this before the grand final. So let's do that segment again, and now let's do the other scenario.
Oh, okay. Yep,
so
sure.
do you want to stuff?
Yeah. Speaking of annihilations, Tim, did you watch the footy on the weekend? Geelong, Richmond again.
Oh, we're so close, Paul.
Oh.
Welcome to Onboard For Delivery.
Well, why don't we talk about something serious, Tim? You've got a new computer. You've gone away with the Mac, right? I mean, you've still got it, but let's just put that aside. What's the first thing we do, Tim? We've got this top of the range PC. We've got all the best technology, one of the latest and greatest graphics cards. It can run 4K very easily. It's 12 cores, 24 threads. It is just an epic computer. So what's the first thing that you and I did on these computers, Tim? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. We installed Command and Conquer Red Alert, a game from about 1997 or something.
Yeah, 1997, right? With I mean, back then, it's funny when I started playing this game, the graphics I thought looked. I thought, they haven't really done much with the graphics. Since then, I thought the graphics looked pretty bad. But then I realised when you press the space bar, you get the 4K graphics that they've updated. So you can actually pick and choose what you want to play. But we played a game together, and a skirmish between you and I. And, people, for our listeners, and TJ, and Ryan, and David, and Phil, and Sam, if you're watching, and shout out to all the others that I've missed. Why don't you let all our listeners know what happened in that game that we played, our first game together?
Okay, so I haven't played Red Alert for about 20 years, Paul. 20 years, okay? Now, I used to annihilate Paul. Paul wasn't even... I wouldn't even... What's the word? I wouldn't even pee on Paul, if you know what I mean.
A peon? And, that's from Warcraft.
Yeah, exactly. And I hadn't played for 20 years. I'd forgotten how to play the game. I've been up to so much useful... My brain has been doing so many more useful things in the last 20 years, Paul. Like, I've forgotten how to play Command and Conquer Red Alert. Now, Paul had been for days practicing and scheming. He'd been working out how to play the game, knowing exactly what you had to build in what order in order to build a nuclear weapon, exactly how to get as much money as you can make so you can build as many tanks as possible, working out strategies. And I just said to Paul, let's give it a go. I haven't even used a PC for 20, for the last 8 years. I've been using a Mac. I'm still trying to work out how to use the mouse. And so I had no idea how to use the game. And I thought, well, let's go in for a nice casual game. Bit of fun. We're chatting on the microphone, the headsets. Bit of a casual game, bit of fun, just a bit of a chat. More of a social thing rather than an actual game. And Paul, he just started he started attacking me with helicopters. He started bomb my construction yard, and then he started rushing me with tanks, just using every dirty tactic. Paul, this is dirty tactics. Absolute disgrace. And he won that first game. And
in about 3 minutes, Tim. 3 minutes, I reckon.
Yeah. It was the only thing that lasts longer than 3 minutes in this day and age is a game of Command and Conquer Red Alert. And Sorry, folks. That was just another Dumb and Dumber moment.
You're laughing at your own jokes, Tim.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think of like 2 or 3 jokes, and then I laugh at those jokes. I think, nah, I can't say that. Don't say that. That's stupid. Don't say that. But I laugh at my own jokes before I've said it, and I don't say those things out loud. But the listeners are pretty intelligent. They've probably worked out the dad jokes. So we play that game, And yeah, Paul did beat me slightly in that first game because I hadn't played it for 20 years, couldn't figure out even how to use the mouse. So Paul was pretty proud of himself, kicking a man while he's down. So good effort, Paul.
Well, it's not all dogfights and helicopters, Tim. We did. You finally received your HOTUS or your HOTUS, however you say it, to play with Flight Sim. We've been having a bit of fun with that, haven't we? With flying around cities and things like that. That's been great.
Absolutely. That's one of the marquee games that I wanted to play with my new setup. So you can fly literally anywhere in the world. Like they've mapped the entire world, a bit like Google Maps, but it's much higher resolution and like everything's in 3D. They've mapped all the buildings. They use artificial intelligence for most of the Earth, so to make buildings look like how they should look and how high the buildings are supposed to be, and they use all the data and AI to get that working. But certain cities and certain landmarks are done in a lot more higher detail. So it's so exciting. Just we're flying in Nepal, through the mountain ranges, and flying through Vegas or New York, or even hometown of Geelong and Melbourne, and going under Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's been pretty exciting, Paul, just exploring the world.
Yeah, well, you landed on the Strip, Tim, in Vegas. That was one of the things that you did. You landed there, and then I landed next to you, and then we had a little conversation. But it's something about flying above the earth is fun and exciting, and having a great time with it. I don't think we've played Red Alert since we started playing Flight Sim, to be honest. But it's been good and much easier, Tim, with your HOTUS than it is with your keyboard and mouse. We tried that, and that was a disaster. You couldn't even keep it up.
No, it's impossible.
So to speak.
It's impossible, Paul, to play Flight Sim with a keyboard, I discovered. And but when I got my HOTUS, Paul, I've mastered it. Okay, I don't know who these people are out there thinking it's a flight sim. It's not a sim. It's the easiest game in the world. I am flying 747s through blizzards, landing them without damage, just point and shoot. The smallest runway on Earth in Nepal. I'll just point and shoot. You don't need a pilot's license. I've mastered it, Paul. I've mastered flying. I'm now ready for helicopters because, frankly, it's too easy.
With the mouse and keyboard, Tim, you had trouble keeping it up, so to speak. But now that you've got your hand on the joystick, you've had no problem with that. But I wouldn't say your damage. No damage is less due to your expertise and more due to the fact that you've got damage turned off in the settings, so that your plane can't damage. That's why you're finding landing so easy. If you actually turn that,
it's a technicality.
If you actually turn that off, and you land a little bit too heavy, it fades to black, and then you got to restart. So I'd like to put your money where your mouth is, Tim, and give it a go. I think you would find it less easy than what you do at present. But nonetheless, Tim, it's still fun. It's still fun to fly around, and I'm having such a good time with it. To fly with you and through the game, and Sydney Harbour Bridge, and that's just amazing.
Absolutely, and the detail is amazing. There's animals. Like if you fly low enough to the ground, there's like elephants walking around. There's cars. It's got real time traffic, real time weather. They've got all this data coming in, and so there'll be cars on the road, and it'd be the same level of traffic that's there at the moment at any point in time. And you can fly at any point in time around the world. You can fly in any type of weather: blizzards, hurricanes. Sunny days, cloudy days, rainy days, snowy days, anything like that. It's great. Yeah, no, really enjoying it, Paul. And it's good being able to just talk and fly next to you. Check out Torquay, fly along the coast. Check out your hometown. So I'm looking forward to some of the updates, so we can fly over the MCG and the WACA. And the Adelaide Oval or the SCG, it doesn't matter where we are, because it's absolutely marvellous, Paul. It's beautiful. Yes.
Well, there's an update for the Washington DC. You can actually fly inside the White House. Through. I'm not sure if you fly through it or if you've got to go through drone mode and go through. But Donald Trump's in there, and all the people. They put a lot of effort into this. It's not just your standard cookie cutter game. They've done a lot of effort. I actually downloaded DCS, which is digital combat simulator, and got into that today because we were discussing dogfighting and things like that, and not real dogfighting. We're talking about dogfights in the air with planes, and I got into that, and it was good, but you can definitely tell what game is more polished and what you can do more in. But I'd like them to add helicopters to Flight Sim. That would definitely add a lot to the
helicopters and weapons, because I mean the only thing that's more fun than flying with your brother over the middle of Dubai in a small plane. The only thing more fun than doing that and checking out the sights is shooting him in the back when he's not expecting it, just like he did to me in Red Alert. So not just that was. I mean, we discussed the first game of Red Alert, Tim, but there was a few other games of Red Alert too, which I don't believe you even came close to winning. Well, I remember one game in particular, Paul, because we decided to show our kids. So I had my daughter here next to me, and you had your son, and
Owen Parker watching.
And we had the microphone set up so we could talk and communicate. The trash talk, like we're talking about a 9 and 10-year-old, 9 and 10-year-old. Yeah. They did not stop talking. The trash talk of these kids, Paul. This is next level. The trash talk. I could not believe it. My daughter did not stop. She was going at it.
She was saying things that you had a second base, and then Owen was saying, Dad, they've got a second base. And I go, no, they don't, mate. No, they don't. Yeah. They're just talking crap. And he's like, hey, no, they said it. It was
we had like one man left, and the whole base is gone, and I couldn't even find my man. I had one man left. I didn't even know why the game didn't finish, and we must have had one man still alive. And so my daughter's like, I said to her, I'm going to tell them we had a second base. She goes, but Dad, we don't. I go, no, we're lying, and just to trick them. And she's like, we got a second base. And then, as I said, I was like, Dad, they've got a second base.
That's hilarious.
It was great.
Yeah.
That was a close game, though. That was very, very close. I had a Tanya. You know those Tanya's little commando. Yeah.
That's what she does, that weird laugh.
I blew up half your base. Well, not even half. I blew up most of it. And
it took me a while. It took me a while to realise,
so
because I kept hearing, building destroyed, and then her laughing, and I couldn't work out what was going on. I thought with Tanya's, you go into a building, you explode the building, and then she's dead.
That's what I thought.
But she just loses a little bit of health every time.
I didn't realise
so
that.
So eventually she goes down. But I mean, speaking of close games, Tim,
we had the momentum going in, and
I wouldn't call it that close. But look, Paddy Dangerfield, it was his opportunity. Gary Ablett, his last season.
I know.
He's not going to be able to go around again.
It was good that they got in it. Good job, guys. But Chris Scott. There's going to be question marks about Chris Scott.
He's such a good coach.
Yeah,
and he's got us to more finals than the other coach. He's done such a great job, but just couldn't get there in the end. Couldn't cut the cheese.
He couldn't just they couldn't just release their load at the end. I know.
They just couldn't get the landing, Tim.
Yeah. Couldn't extend the landing gear and plonk it down, if you know what I mean.
They just couldn't. It just crashed the desktop, wasn't it? It was just a.
Oh, it was a blue screen of death. It was.
It was like an alt F4, Tim.
Oh, it was like an error with the auto exec bat file, Paul.
Oh, it was like a Tim. We're competing again, Tim. But this is never going to end.
Flexing.
I always find it hilarious when someone asks for advice on a forum, and someone always says press Alt F4 as the advice, and people always take it as gospel, and then it just crashes everything down. It's hilarious.
Yeah, when I was in primary school, Paul, we used to muck around with the computers. So there was a program. I can't remember what it was called, but
Coral Draw,
maybe Basic or something. I can't remember what it's called, but you could make it play a music file. So you'd say play, like, and you'd type in the notes like A, F, G, C, sharp, and just make it up. But we would just make something really annoying. So it'd be like ding, 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 and then we'd put it on endless repeat and loop, and then we would edit the auto exec bat file, which is what the computer uses when it loads up back then. It might still do. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but we'd make it a little executable and include it. So when you boot the computer up, the first thing it does is just play this little tune endlessly forever. And then we would just reset the computer, then go off and have recess. And imagine the teacher coming back to the computer and just going ding 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 ding, and having that repeat on several computers non-stop. We used to love it.
That's one of the many pranks in the IT world. Do you remember that? What was that program we used to use back in the day? And you used to always program it to say, you smell like possum poo. Remember that? What was that?
Was it a similar one?
Is that built into the computer?
If there's anyone out there that remembers any nerds, any IT nerds, our avid listeners. So Phil, we're looking. No, if anyone remembers what that's called, write in at Onboard For Delivery at gmail.com and let us know what that program is, because you could make it say things like that Stephen Hawking type voice.
Yeah, actually on Facebook the other day, someone was saying they were using Corel Draw or Corel Draw, however you say it. And I remember playing that back in the day, but I think it's more of a professional interface these days. But I'm sure I use that as just to muck around.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I know the name, and I don't think I used it. I was a kid, but I haven't really heard about that in this day and age. Maybe they were bought out, or I don't know what happened to Corel. But
no, they're still around. I mean, you can still get them, but just made me think of it. But I mean, what have we got, Tim? We've got to play Forza Horizon. That's another game we've got to play. Golf with Friends, another game we're playing.
That's kind of cool. It was funny. I was going to mention before with Red Alert. So I had my daughter watching it, and I was hoping she'd love it because you can bond and play games and watch me annihilate Paul, and it was really good fun. And she came out and said, "Dad, that was the most."
Horrific?
Horrific. She used a word. I think maybe it might have been horrific. Most horrific thing I've ever seen. I never want to see it again. Just all the death. And I didn't realise I'm showing all these men just getting shot at and destroyed and run over by tanks. And I'm like, I didn't realise she might not like. I thought it's a cartoon. It's funny. It's funny. You squash them with a tank and then makes a squish noise. It's funny. She's like, nah, Dad, that was horrific. I'm like, okay. So might have to find another game. I'm looking forward this week, showing her flight sim and letting her have a go at the flight controls. And I mean, I can fly a plane. I'm sure I can teach a 9-year-old how to fly a plane too, Paul. I'm mastered it. It's too easy. Mastered it.
You can teach her how to land.
So looking forward to doing that, Paul. Yeah. Whew. Just going to refer back to my notes.
I think we're pushing 22 minutes, Tim. I'm a little bit worried about your battery, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I've got my screen up now, so I can see. It still says recording, so
okay,
it's still going. Because my battery lasts a bit longer than yours, Paul. If you know what I mean. I can last an extra few minutes.
Well, I'm going to get my chair before you, if you know what I mean.
I don't know, Paul. I'd say that even though the ETA is about 4 days earlier on yours, I've had a little bit of success in the past. The Geelong deliverers, they are just a little bit, a bit more on the ball. Plus,
maybe we'll see. I'll let you know when it comes. I'll get a photo with the delivery guy, and it's actually not the same delivery guy, so I probably won't be doing that. But nonetheless,
yeah.
But
So now that the footy's over, we're gonna have to watch the end of The Bachelorette and see what happens there.
Yeah, I reckon Ali will find a man, and so will
Becky.
I think they'll both find men. I think they're going to win, those two.
Yeah, they have already said that they both find men. So if you can't find 2 men out of 20 odd, then
do you think when the guys met them for the first time, before they introduced to each other, do you think they thought it was a 2-for-1 deal, or do you think they thought they were going to be 2 people in their house looking for love?
Any man worth his soup. Is that the?
No, I think it's sauce, Tim.
Any man worth his sauce. Yeah, any man worth his sauce would. I don't know if that sounds right either. Would be looking at the 2-for-1 deal. Absolutely, I would have. Yeah, absolutely.
I think one guy said that. One guy actually said, "Is this a was it Pascal?" He goes, someone said 2-for-1 special." That's how.
I'll tell you what. Yeah. Whew. But you don't want sisters anyway, Paul. As good as it sounds, they're less likely to we're going a bit off on topic here on the tech podcast. By the way, we're on YouTube, Apple Playbook, and all popular podcast networks. We're going in very dangerous territory today. So that's Bachelorette. We've covered that. We've covered Flight Sim. We've covered Red Alert. We've covered my battery lasts significantly longer than yours, Paul. It's still going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. It's just pumping away. It's pumping away. It's just producing the goods. It's yours. You're on 33% after the first video. Mine's this is going gangbusters.
Well, I think you owe it to us, Tim, because the last few podcasts you've had the sound not record, the video stopped recording, the lighting was off, the thing wasn't focused. So you owe it to me to get this right this time. So it's been about 4 episodes so far.
I actually reckon, Paul, I've never been in focus because I put the focus assist on tonight and it shows that it's been focusing on my microphone. So I've put it in manual. Everything's in full manual mode tonight. Everything is manual. I put it some manual focus and I've tried to... Oh, I'm just dead now, actually. I'm dead. So the video's cut out. Battery dead. So
okay, so we want to thank everyone for watching Onboard for Delivery. After all that, if you're wondering where Tim's gone, it's because his video has died just after. The funny thing is, Tim, you just gave me a monologue about how long your battery lasts and how it's better than mine and how you've done everything right this time.
Show up, Paul.
And your battery has died. So once again, Tim, you've let the team down. However, thank you for joining us on Board for Delivery, and we'll be back next week. So, from both of us here, Tim can't do this.
Good night.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap. Is that a wrap?
All right.
Are we done?